wonderful creators on authortube and writertube who have taught me basically these fundamentals of writing, not only as a passion but also as a craft. Hey guys, my name's Kusayan and I'm a writer. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're not. I'm so excited to be filming another video for you guys. This is kind of going to be like a day in the life of a writer, and I just wanted to work on my book, kind of share a little bit about where I'm at, because I think it's been about 3 months since I have. It's been a hot minute since I've let you all know about where I am currently in my YA Portal Fantasy Project Evergreen, and so I thought it would be a great idea to give you all a bit of an update as to where I am, how my progress is going, and all that fun stuff. Because January of 2025 will mark exactly 2 years that I have been working on this novel, and as much as I love it, I am so excited to query it and send it out to literary agents. And this final revision before I get some outside feedback on it is one of the final steps before that process.
Hi, sweet boy. Are you ready to get out now? Good boy. Let's get you out. Let's get you out. Hi, good boy. I'm here. Hi, sweet boy. Hi, Victory. Hi, sweet boy. Hi, Victory. Oh, he has my socks. You like that? Do you like that, sweet boy?
So the decor is a sign as to where we'll be eating today. I want to see if you guys can guess where I am in the comments. I have not eaten here since I was about 6 years old, and they recently came out with the $5 meal deal that me and Good Mommy are really excited to try. Yay! Thank you, Mom.
You're welcome.
Did you guys guess right? So I want to give you all a bit of a review of the Checkers $5 meal deal, so I decided to do a little voiceover on top of the B-roll. So first off were the classic Checkers French fries. While I could tell they put some really good seasoning on there, ultimately they were cold, so that kind of ruined the flavor. 7 out of 10. Next were their brand new chicken bites, and ultimately this was the most disappointing part of the meal for me. Because it had no sauce, they were kind of dry. 4 out of 10. Next was their burger, and I have to say, I am a person who really loves burgers. Like, there aren't a lot of burgers that I don't like, and I definitely really liked the flavor in this one. There was a lot of mayonnaise on there, which I loved, but it was cold, so 8 out of 10. And of course, I got a small Fanta soda, which never disappoints, so 10 out of 10. While there were parts of this meal that I liked, all the food was cold, so I'm going to have to rate it a 5 out of 10. If you ever want a $5 meal deal, just go to McDonald's. Alright, you guys, it is currently September 15th. While we were out today, I did some writing on my iPad, so I'm just going to connect that back to our router, so that way the changes I made to my manuscript can also sync with my monitor. It's thinking right now. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna let that do its thing and talk to you guys a little bit to give you all an update, and then once I'm done I will check that again. So the last time I spoke to y'all, I'm pretty sure I was on chapter 30. Finishing that chapter for a long time felt like pulling teeth. Like, I think I maybe sat on chapter 30 for like a week. I don't know exactly how long, but it felt like a long time. And I'm just so glad that I was able to finish that yesterday, not only because 1, I had been on it for such a long time, but 2, I originally had the goal of finishing these revisions on Project Evergreen on September 11th, since that was my 17th birthday, and we had a great time. I spent time with my family, had some cake, and just chilled out, which was honestly really, really relaxing and needed in my case. But also I set a new goal for September 24th to finish the revisions on my manuscript. So in order to do that, since I pretty much started yesterday, which was the 14th, and I have about 10 more chapters, well really 9 now to finish before that date, that means I need to do about a chapter a day in order to finish the revisions by the date that I would like to. And as well, I want to mention that one of the chapters that I want to work on is actually mainly a new scene that I want to write. So it's really not a whole chapter, but it's probably like 75% of one. Actually, at the beginning of the book that I want to go back and write once I finished the revisions through the end. So I'm hoping to be able to finish that in one day as well, even though, you know, I kind of want to have a little bit of time to revise that as well, just because that will technically be the quality of a first draft. Hopefully it'll be the quality of a good first draft, but a first draft nonetheless. And so if I could get ahead on the other chapters a little earlier and give myself that extra time to then go over that, plus go over some of the notes that I've placed throughout the manuscript just to check for consistency, timelines, different little subplots and little things that I really want to make consistent to, you know, really polish a manuscript with my best ability. I want to be able to really go through that and have at least a day or so to just fix and tweak those little inconsistencies that may still be hidden throughout the manuscript. And so finishing chapter 30 yesterday, especially since I had spent a long time on it, was definitely a humongous relief. Today I worked on chapter 31 and I'm currently in the very last scene. So as soon as my iPad syncs to my computer, I'm gonna go ahead and try to finish that chapter so that way I can be on point with my goal. And I cannot tell you all how good it feels and how excited I am to really be this far in my manuscript after I add the extra scene and kind of do a little bit of rearranging with my chapters. There's going to officially be about 40 chapters in this manuscript, and that is just so exciting to me, which means I am past chapter 30 now, which means I have passed this 75% mark. So the fact that there is so little left, like literally less than 10 chapters to work on, makes me so excited because I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. And this book that I have been working on since January of 2022 will finally be finished and ready to be sent out to beta readers. So that is just so encouraging to me. This is kind of a writing goal that I've set for myself and that I've never really told anyone else about except my grandmother, or my good mommy as I like to call her. And that is that I want to hopefully have a traditional publishing book deal by the time I'm 20 years old. So I just turned 17, so that gives me 3 years to achieve that goal. And that's like the latest time. Ideally, if I could get a book deal before then, that would be great. And I know that's ambitious, and I know that I'm younger than most people who enter traditional publishing, since I think the average margins are more like late 20s to like mid 30s. Project Evergreen is the third book that I've ever worked on, and it's the first book that I've ever finished from start to end. And even though, yes, I definitely am on the newer side as a writer, and I'm sure that my skills have a long way to grow and develop, and in the next 10, 20, 30 years, I know my writing is going to just quadruple in skill and elegance compared to my range right now. Project Evergreen is the first writing project that I've ever really felt passionate about, in the sense where I felt completely confident that I wanted to publish it. Not just in the sense of the book itself, but also I know so much more now than I did when I first became a writer. Like, I know so much about traditional publishing, and really I always wanted to be traditionally published, even though I most recently learned about self-publishing. And I think that's another great way and completely valid way to become a published author. I've always wanted traditional publishing even since I was a little girl, but up until like the past couple years of writing Project Evergreen, I never really knew what it took to actually become traditionally published. So not only have I researched a lot about trad pub, but also plot structure, character arcs, foreshadowing, even just how to write effective dialogue and how to use that as a way to build relationships between my characters. These were things that, while I've always had a passion for writing, I never really knew up until the past couple years. And just with all the knowledge that I've cultivated, most of which has come from God, of course, and a lot of wonderful creators, on authortube and writertube who have taught me basically these fundamentals of writing, and not only just thinking of writing as a passion, but also as a craft and an art. So with all the information that I've cultivated while I've been writing Project Evergreen, I feel like automatically this is the strongest manuscript that I've ever written, and it's the first one that I finished, and I just feel so confident and optimistic about this book. Of course, you never know what to expect once you get in the querying trenches, and seeing querying vlogs on YouTube, you see some people who are very successful and some people who maybe aren't on their first try, and that's okay. But I definitely want to give querying and traditional publishing a shot, and I honestly don't think there's any book that I prefer to do that with than Project Evergreen. And I have another exciting announcement, and that is, obviously you guys know, if you are not new to my channel, that I am currently doing, I guess you could say, about draft 3 of Project Evergreen, and this will be the final revisions that I do on my own before I send the project out to beta readers. Now, one of my beta readers is my good mommy, who has so graciously agreed to read my manuscript, and I've been talking to her about this book for 2 years. So to be able to now share with her and get her to be able to read it is honestly, such a huge dream of mine. You want to make your parents proud, especially when you have a passion and you have a parent as supportive as she is. You want them to be able to read it and, really get involved with what you're doing and know what I've been working on for 2 years. It's really gratifying to show her how I've been able to turn what was once a blank page into this story that I feel so passionate about. And so being able to have her read my manuscript and seeing her reactions and telling me how good my imagery is, or how she likes the dialogue, or how she can already get little hints about the characters, is such a gratifying experience as a writer. However, even though I absolutely love my good mommy's feedback and I'm so thrilled to be able to share my story with her, I've known for a while that I wanted someone else outside of family members, still someone who was familiar with me and my work, to read my novel. And for a long time, I didn't exactly know who that would be. For a long while, we went on Fiverr trying to look for a beta reader that I could hire for a reasonable rate. In short, that ended up not working out because we had some communication issues. Some of the beta readers raised their prices outside of the range that we would have liked to pay. And so it kind of made the option of hiring a beta reader kind of outside of our, reach right now. But then me and good mommy had the perfect idea, and I had been thinking of this for a little while, but I just didn't say anything. But we both had the great idea that there would be no one else who was better to read my manuscript than my English teacher. And so the other day, my birthday actually, I ended up asking him if he would be willing to read my manuscript, and he said yes, which made me so happy. And so good mommy and my English teacher are going to be my 2 beta readers once I'm finished with Project Evergreen. I had to save up some more space on my iPhone, but I ended up doing that, so I'm just going to continue where I left off. Before I even ended up asking my English teacher if he would be willing to read Project Evergreen, I created a Google form with a list of questions under a few different categories like characters, plot, pacing, romance, setting, etc. That way I can kind of get an overall scope on what it's like to read my book from a reader's point of view. And I felt like my English teacher, other than good mommy, would be the perfect candidate for a beta reader because he only knows me from, my academic background, you could say. However, he's also read poems and short stories that I've read, so he has read my writing before and he knows kind of my style as a writer. And what I love about I was about to say his name. What I love about my English teacher is that he mixes feedback with encouragement. So he's very encouraging about what he enjoyed about a particular piece that I write, but he's also always going to encourage me to go that extra mile and really make my writing shine with some type of feedback. So I really love the way he mixes those two, and I know that I'm gonna get a similar enthusiasm from him when he reads my work. So yeah, stay tuned for another video coming in the future, probably within the next month and a half or so, where I share a video of good mommy and my English teachers' feedback, and that way you all can see what they thought about my book. And I will be walking you all through the process of the month in which I incorporate their feedback before I start querying Project Evergreen to literary agents. So that's all really exciting. I'm glad I gave you all an update so you can kind of see what's been going on with my manuscript. As I said, I still have that goal of finishing this revision by September 24th. And so that means I need to go ahead and try and finish chapter 31 tonight. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and finish this chapter, which is only probably about another page and a half. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish that real quick. And then I will be done with writing for the day.